Hi, I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog at stampwithelaine.com. Yesterday, the new January to June 2022 mini launched. So I can now show you the inside of the catalogue. I'm going to be highlighting the Tulip Fields suite. This suite has got two bundles. One I'm going to be showcasing today is the Tulip Fields bundle, because I want to show you how to stamp this funny triangular stamp. It's actually one stamp. And then there's this triangle. Also in the suite are some evergreen ribbon, brass brushed butterflies. There are two sizes, a large and a smaller one, and also the designer series paper. They come in 12 by 12 inch sheets, but it's just easier to show you. I've cut it down to 6 by 6. And on the reverse is an abstract pattern, and on the front are just a field of daffodils in different colours. This is also the start of celebration, and the promotion goes from the 4th of January to the 28th of February. So in the brochure, if you spend £45 or multiples of £45, you can get to choose a product from within the brochure. So you can get a stamp set for £45, daffodil papers. There's a stamp set in the mini catalogue you can choose, and these papers complement it. There's catching butterflies, driving by. These are all stamp sets for £45 spend, as well as the rainbow papers. Again, this one has a stamp set in the mini that coordinates with it, the marvellous papers, and a free stamp set called Awesome Otters. If you follow me, you would have seen the sneak peek. I made a card similar to this, casing it from the catalogue, but with my own interpretation. I also featured this in a sneak peek. This is the friendly hello. For a £90 spend, you get both the papers and a stamp set. And for £90 spend, you could also get this special moment sentiment set, which I will be featuring in this project. Right at the back, this is your free host stamp set called Calming Camellia. So if your workshop reaches £275, then you get that free. I'm going to show you how to use the Tulip Fields stamp set. This is what we're going to be making today, and this triangular stamp allows you to gain a bit of perspective, and this one is a peculiar stamp. It's so that you can create a skyline, and it's shaped this way. You can see how loved my stamp apparatus is, because it's really dirty. I ought to clean this. Making more than one card, I always use the stamp apparatus because it positions the stamp without moving it. And I can create multiple cards with the same results. I'm going to use half an A4 sheet so that this will butt straight into the corner, and then this stamp will stamp larger than I need, but then I can trim it down to size to fit my card front. To create this card, I'm using rather a lot of inks. I need Pool Party for the sky. I'll use a blending brush for that. And then the trees and the fields of tulips are Pear Pizzazz for the trees, a neutrals marker in soft suede to colour in the trunks of the trees, Mango Melody. For the tulip beds, I used Mango Melody, Highland Heather, Fresh Freesia, Petal Pink, and repeated on the other side. For the windmill, I used Crumb Cake and smoky slate for the clouds. Now it might seem as though I'm wasting the cardstock using half an A4 sheet, but I assure you all the paper will be used up because we're going to trim it afterwards. See, the ink didn't come out, so I'm stamping it again. And that's perfect. Now, because these are photopolymer stamps, I need a cushion underneath, because photopolymer stamps don't have a foam cushion underneath, and so the Stamparatus pad will act as a cushion for the stamp. Next, I want to stamp the Highland Heather piece. Ink that up, and I'm going to use the rim of the stamp to line up with the line here and make sure that the point of that triangle meets up with the point there. I repeat for the other side. Then I'm going to switch to Petal Pink, and this time I'm going to stamp slap bang in the middle. Ink up in fresh freesia and fill in the gaps here. Leave the stamp on the cardstock for it to absorb the ink, and repeat on the other side. I want to do a bit of blending. I'm going to trim my piece of cardstock now. I'm going to put my windmill in the centre here to cover up these points, and I want the windmill to be to the right of the paper, so I'm going to cut that off round about there. Measure 3 3/4. Height will be 5 1/2. So now I'm going to do a bit of blending. Save that piece, you'll need it in a minute, and I'll put this mask on here and use Pool Party to blend the sky. Bring back my Stamparatus, and I'm going to stamp the windmill in crumb cake. Now we're going to die cut the windmill, and you've got a bigger windmill here, and this is a small one for the stamped image. And there's also clouds, trees, a bicycle, tulips, clouds, and these are the fences. So I'll die cut that off camera using my standard sandwich. I've put dimensionals on the back ready to place on the card, and see how that covers up the points, and then you have this perspective. Let's run through the card base. This is 5 7/8 by 8 1/4. In metric, that's 14.5 by 21 centimeters. On the long side, you score at 4 1/8. In metric, that's 10.5 centimeters, and fold it in half. A Petal Pink matte layer that measures 3 7/8 by 5 5/8. In metric, that will be 10 centimeters by 14 centimeters. Now the stamped piece, which was half an A4 sheet, you've now trimmed that down to 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. And you also need a basic white piece the same size to go inside. So in metric, that will be 9.5 by 13.5 centimeters. To do the inside of the card, I'm going to just place it anywhere along the top edge because this stamp is really long, and I'm going to ink it up in Petal Pink and stamp. So now I want to glue this piece onto the matte layer so I don't keep losing it. Leaving an even border all round. I haven't glued my windmill down yet because I want to find out where to stamp my trees. There's these little trees here. And then the large tree. And I'm just going to use this marker to colour the trunk of the tree. Remove the backing tape for the dimensionals, and now I can glue this onto my project. I want to stamp my cloud. I'm going to stamp off so it's not so dark. Remember I said the cardstock won't be wasted, so now you can use your scraps to stamp a greeting. I want to just trim that off a little bit. This sentiment comes from the Celebrations Special Moments stamp set. Put some large ones on the back. Stick that on there. The last finishing touch. I might put a tiny little butterfly there. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial and are loving the new mini. All the supplies are listed below this video in the Show More section. You can read more about it on my blog at stampwithelaine.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Pinterest or Instagram. Thanks for watching. Bye!